Welcome to Share Talk, the only podcast where investors come first.
We have Parry, one of the founders of Tally Limited, with us today, and he's here to talk about the company and the direction he sees it going in. Good day, Cameron. How are you?
Hi, Rob. Good, thanks.
Good to hear it. So, first question is going to be Lions Gold. It was suspended from the market in May 2018 as a regulator deemed that the core business had changed. You've since developed the Tally banking platform to the point that you've changed the company name to Tally Limited and are looking to bring the company back to the market in May 2020, primarily as a financial technology company. This seems very ambitious. Why are you doing it?
Yes, well, as you say, we got suspended from the market in May last year, and it was a surprise to all of us, and I know it's a surprise to our shareholders. If I go back a little bit further, I took charge of a company called Kohler Gold in July 2016, which had gold exploration interests in India, and you know, I wanted to expand the corporate strategy there of that company and make it something a bit more unique. And with my background as founder of Metal Tiger and co-founder of Coincilium, being the world's first blockchain technology company to IPO on a recognised stock market back in late 2015, I was able to kind of bring the two natural resources background and the sort of the technology and fintech background together. And I created basically a three-tiered sort of strategy, which was to pursue the quality assets in India for the gold exploration and production, add another jurisdiction, which we did with Finland in gold exploration, and then add a financial technology division and start building something that could be revenue generative and that would allow us to create a vertically integrated business that is involved in the exploration and production of physical gold as well as the retail application of physical gold. And I created the brand Lions Gold to do that because it was quite a marked step away from what Kohler Gold's strategy was. So we were doing that basically. We were developing both those three tiers to the business, and as we went through 2018, you know, we were still doing work on the gold exploration and mining side of things with our partners there, but there was more and more, I suppose, information coming out about what we're doing on the fintech side, and I think definitely, I mean, in my view, prematurely, but the regulator, you know, seemed to think that we'd had this change in core business and sought to suspend us because of that. We disagreed with that, but that didn't change the fact that was their view. And again, I think it was premature. I mean, we didn't even release our product until June this year, so to think we'd already had that change by then is a bit early. But there was a transition going on, and ultimately we were becoming more of a focused on the financial technology side of the business, not just the strategic sort of mining assets. So Tally, is just a continual evolution of that strategy, where the fintech division really has become the champion cause of what we're doing. We, as time has passed, we've evolved the scope and the breadth and depth of what can be achieved with Tally. It is something that's fixing a very big problem out there, although it's not a problem that most people are aware they sort of have as such. It's not just a fintech company that we're looking to bring back on, but it is a company involved in digital banking services, but with a truly disruptive USP, and that is that we've got our own monetary system with characteristics of the money that we believe are better than the alternative, and the alternative is, in the mainstream, the local fiat currency.
So, for those listening, what exactly is Tally?
Right. Well, so Tally is the name of the banking platform, as well as the name of the unit of hard asset currency. So it's an independent monetary system and full reserve physical asset currency, the physical asset being gold, that sits outside of the existing banking infrastructure while seamlessly operating with it. And we're able to do that because we're able to represent the ownership of physical gold directly into an individual's bank account. So what this means is that the money that they're using is insulated from inflation, protected from bank risk, protected from lending risk, protected from contagion of bank default and that possibility, and all the fragility of the fiat currency banking model, but while still offering the frictionless usability of a mainstream banking account with a contactless or with a debit card. So it's the first time that consumers have a mainstream alternative to the local government-issued fiat currency. And so this form of money is independent, insulated and innovative, and it puts that ultimate control and certainty of money back into the hands of the consumer, all without the sort of hidden costs and extortionate FX margins that are charged by the bank for the same convenience.
Well, it certainly sounds like it's keeping you busy with the calls in the background there. Right, so you announced that you raised £650,000 at 1.5 pence per share. What was that money for, and what are the plans moving forward? Right.
Well, currently, so we released our product tally, and this is quite crucial actually, because back to your first question, I think around what happened from Lions Gold suspension to market and through to what we're doing today and what our path is to get back to listing. Because that whole episode, for a lot of shareholders can be quite frustrating. I mean, it would have taken them by surprise as much as it did us. And for people that, like public market shares because they're liquid, having something that's illiquid for a period of time can be quite frustrating. So look, it is part of the steps that we're doing moving forward to bring the company back to market. And to do that, you need to achieve certain milestones. So we released our product finally on the 10th of June this year, about 3 months ago. We're just about to reach our 1,000th customer. So anybody listening, depending on when this goes out, they might still be in the running to be that 1,000th customer if they go to the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store if they're on an Android and want to sign up to a Tally banking account. But anyway, we released the product. We've raised some further funds. We now complete some of the optimization of the client onboarding journey. We complete the integration of a compliance and customer onboarding platform with our API provider there in True Narrative to provide improved compliance processes and fraud detection that are also scalable, which is very important for these type of payment companies such as ourselves. We are integrating directly with Great British Pounds so that Tally can be connected to the UK faster payment system. And that's through our technology stack partner there in Railsbank. We're developing the next version of whilst we continually do updates, we're developing the next sort of version of the app that'll we hope to go out around the end of October or in November with increased functionality around merchant details and geolocation of transactions, friend get friend offerings, being able to gift Tally. So, giving the gift of gold in time for Christmas, we want to do that one. And the development of, individual savings safes, because we think that Tally really does address for savers who have really been like the forgotten masses as far as banking goes. So we're doing all these things with the money. And then we and our plans sort of moving forward are to continue to grow the customer numbers. Now that we've got our minimal viable product out, which is what we released in June, and we're on our path to get to our minimal lovable product, which is version 2. Now we can start directing some of our resources towards the marketing and PR side of things. And we've had a little bit of PR go out already, and the latest one was, or the latest thing some people might have, some of your listeners might have seen, was in the Daily Mail yesterday. That Tally is listed as the top way to Brexit-proof your money. Which it is. Moving forward, we then move on to looking at expanding the product and brand awareness through a crowdfunding raise late this year, as well as raising some more funds in the lead up to again growing more customer numbers, evidencing some of the opportunities we have from a B2B side of things, which demonstrates that the Tally ecosystem and this standalone monetary system is much bigger than just our retail banking offering, being the B2C app that's currently out. And then we continue on our path to look at an IPO to see us listed in May next year, and to, from there pursue our expanding objectives along with our plans at that point. So there's quite a lot going on. I know we're only talking over the space of months of what I've just described, but there's been a lot going on, and there's still a lot going on, and we've got a lot more to do. So sorry if that was a bit of a long-winded explanation, but there's lots to describe.
I'm sure it's appreciated by the listeners. You still have an investment in an Indian gold exploration company, a Finnish gold joint venture, and Railsbank technology that provides the banking API to Tally that it plugs into. What are the plans with those?
Right. So we also on our roadmap to IPO, because we have what Lions Gold was again involved in sort of the exploration and production of gold, as well as having a retail application of gold through financial technology. Tally has actually evolved beyond that, and it is truly a fintech company that is focused on operating in the banking space with this standalone monetary system that provides the certainty and quality of money that we believe is outperforms using fiat as a superior form of money for everybody in their day-to-day lives. So we are on a path to look at divesting our Indian gold exploration company equity. It's currently in a private company, India's leading gold exploration company there, based in Bangalore. There is some work going on in the background where we potentially might see that holding in a private company become a shareholding in a Bombay Stock Exchange listed gold exploration company there, which would suffice for our needs. That it's we would just be a passive shareholder at that point. With our Finnish gold joint venture, the 32% JV interest we have in a high grade gold deposit in sort of central eastern Finland. We're in talks to have a look at how we might be able to roll that up with our JV partners' other Finnish gold interests, and maybe even put that in its own, package that up in its own company, and look for investment strictly for that business model and that company strategy, and to basically divest those things that aren't really directly related to Tally now out of the company, just so that it's I guess an easier or a cleaner investment story for when we do go to the public market. And with Railsbank Technology, they've just announced that they've completed a Series A funding round of $10 million US. And whilst they don't give specific figures away, I'm pleased to report that sees the value of our holding, which was 1.27 million we originally invested there in early 2018, being more than doubled. So that's that's working. We do have an exclusive with Railsbank where we exclusively offer gold or gold-related products through their banking API. So that goes for about another 18 months, I think it is. But as far as our equity holding, we think it's valuable in its own right as an investment. But of course, that's something that down the track, can be something that we also have access to divest to help fund marketing or development of Tally.
That's great. Our last question is going to be towards our listeners who are quite independently minded. They do their own work and they listen to podcasts like these to learn about various companies they might invest in. Would they not be good candidates to use Tally?
Well, yes. I mean, look, we did a lot of market research around segmenting the market for Tally, the audience here in the UK. There's many different benefits to using Tally and many different drivers for people. So I mentioned the Brexit proofing their money. I mean, that's obviously very topical at the moment with what's going on at Westminster, and that we're coming up to another sort of deadline with Brexit that may or may not happen. So there are people that are out there that are maybe don't have the confidence in the government managing the monetary system, maybe that they once had, and that the political and economic uncertainty, is exacerbating this situation, and they might even be a bit frustrated and annoyed at how our institutions are working in some of these places at the moment. So there are those people who are not necessarily anti-establishment, but sort of think, operate independently and think outside the box. We have people who are, may have flirted with the idea of getting some exposure to gold. That generally, as a rule of thumb, most people know that if you can, you should hold about 10% of your investment portfolio directly in physical gold, not in paper gold, not in ETFs or futures or derivatives, but actually in physical gold. Tally enables them to do that very cheaply and also gives them the full flexibility of utilising that gold as money, as cash, digital cash. So there are those type of people. There are people that are, travelling, and they just get sick and tired of sort of being ripped off, I suppose, by having a heavy FX margins being added by banks when they use the convenience of their current bank account, and they don't like being charged, costly international transaction fees and that type of thing. We have people who are, large depositors, where they hold more than £85,000 worth of currency, and they still want that money to be protected. And under the Financial Services Compensation Scheme in the UK, your bank account is capped. That protection is capped at £85,000 at the moment. It was a different number a couple of years ago, and obviously it could become a different number overnight again if the worst happens here in our banking sector. But for the moment, it's £85,000. With Tally, there's no cap to the limit. It's a physical asset. It's 100% insured. And in the event that anything happens to us as Tally, the platform operator, then we have a security trustee arrangement that sees everybody get 99% of the value of their account converted back from Tally into a fiat currency into their alternative bank account very promptly, and just with a flat cost at 1%, which pays for the administration and the legal setup of all this. So some people use it for that level of protection. Some people are understand that inflation is just targeted devaluation by design of the money we use, and they have a serious problem with that. That if you put your effort and time and labour and mental energy and sacrifice away from your family to earn money, and it's not right that in a few years' time, if you went back to spend that money, that it might only be worth 50 or 60% of what you did because you didn't give 50 or 60% of your effort. It's not right that by some other means that is just being devalued that way. So you get some people who are frustrated in that environment. Some people who are a little bit worried about risks and the fragility of the banking system and the fractional reserve banking system. And I think the main one for me is that Tally as a currency provides an environment for savers once again. So something where your money holds its value over time, that you can sort of have the comfort that it's going to be there tomorrow, that it can't just digitally fall off a cliff, that it's not being arbitrarily expanded in the monetary supply by devaluing it, which also happens primarily just digitally. So I think for savers, there's a really is one of our big audiences for this product. So with relation to Share Talk listeners, there could be a number of those factors at play, or they might just simply want to be using the newest, latest sort of upgraded form of money, get some bragging rights amongst their friends because they tend to be a bit of a leader, I suppose, amongst their peer group in doing things before everyone else catches on. I mean, there's that kind of a status bit to it as well, I suppose, but whatever the reason is, there's plenty of benefits and plenty of reasons to use Tally. I should mention the price of tally is directly linked to gold because the tally account holder owns the physical gold. And that price can fluctuate against fiat currency from the time they deposit fiat currency that automatically converts into tally in their tally account, from the time that, to the time when they spend it. So it can fluctuate. You still have that foreign currency risk, is the only risk we haven't really been able to take out of the equation. But, throughout history, gold only ever dips against fiat currency. It always maintains its value. It's always sought after. People around the world understand how it derives its value, and that it has a value. That's a temporary sort of a thing for my money, at least when I use tally. But yeah, look, to encourage listeners of Share Talk, and recognising that, you're quite right, Rob. There probably are some listening to this thinking maybe I should try this product. We'll make an offer to them if they put in a promo code. So we've set up a promo code for Share Talk. If they download the app from the Apple App Store if they've got an iPhone, or from the Google Play Store if they've got an Android smartphone, and they put in the promo code, all one word, Share Tally. So instead of Share Talk, it's Share Tally. All one word, tally being TALLY. Then we will deposit into their account 200 tally, which is, if you want to break it down to a physical asset, 200 milligrams of gold. It has a value at the moment of about £8. They can buy themselves a couple of drinks or a couple of cups of coffee while they start having a look at what have they been using as a form of money to date, and why this solution is important. That we now do have an alternative for us as the mainstream public. Look, we'd love to offer that and put that out there if people would like to take us up on that. As I say, if they listen to the podcast and they put in the promo code Share Tally, we will deposit 200 tally into their account, regardless of what they're putting in there.
I think that's great for our listeners. Who doesn't like free gold? So thanks, Cameron, for taking the time, obviously, to talk to us and give an overview of tally, and also for that promotion, which we will put on our website, so those listening to the podcast can look for the information if they didn't get it. But thanks for your time there, Cameron. We hope to hear from you soon. Great.
Thanks very much, Rob. And thanks for giving us a chance to sort of explain what we've been up to.
Thank you for listening. Remember to visit our website for more news and other podcasts at www.share-talk.com.